Yo, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Let me embiggen us a little bit so you can see these beautiful faces. So, what's going on? Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Chambers. So, you all know this guy by my side. We have one half of last year's championship team.
The better half.
I was going to say, some may argue the better half.
The better half.
Not everyone. Not everyone.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have hopefully another season upon us, but that's the reason we wanted to do this cast. There's a couple league updates we want to talk to you about, and we're going to rifle through a few of those, and then we're actually going to do a live mock draft on air. So if you want to check it out, get our early opinions on shit, stick around.
Tell us our opinions suck. That's okay too.
You know, we've already got a couple drinks in us, so
yes.
it's
For you,
gonna,
Nick. This is for you, Nick.
it's going to be interesting. But that being said, obviously we still need to pick the live draft order. So as usual, we're going to use the ping pong balls like we do. It's all going to be based off of last year's finishes with how many of the ping pong balls you get in the lottery. I'm thinking it's probably either going to be next Friday or the following Friday. So it's without a doubt, it's going to be either next week or the following week. So that's exciting. I'll let everybody know beforehand when we decide on a time frame, because obviously I let you guys decide what you want to pick in the order. So as your name gets picked, either we'll do what we always do. We're going to do a live video on YouTube.
Yes.
If you guys want to chime in through the chat on that, that's fine. Or if you'd rather text or call me, or I'll reach out to you.
Phone a friend.
That works too. I am going to say I'm going to do a 5-minute rule this year. So I'm going to let everybody know when it's happening. And if you miss the video, if you miss the text, if you miss the phone call, unfortunately, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Then I'm going to bump you down. You will get the next lowest draft position available. So if picks 1 through 3 are gone, and I keep calling you, guess what? You're getting pick 4.
Bottom line.
So that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Yeah.
So obviously, we're dealing with COVID-19 this season. I'm hoping there's football this year. I'm still optimistic. The NFL is optimistic that the season is going to start when it's supposed to. That being said, I mean, there's a very good chance, we already know right now, that they're down to 2 preseason games instead of 4. That may turn into no preseason games based on what they're saying. And from a fantasy football perspective, that makes things interesting, because we've always kind of gone with the idea that you always want to draft as late as possible.
Right.
Because you don't want injuries to happen in the preseason. This year, that may be thrown out the window. A lot of things this year are going to be different and thrown out the window. So traditionally, I always try to do my live draft Labor Day weekend. I'm considering this year actually doing it the week before Labor Day weekend. So probably that's Saturday. Not 100% on that. I still need to reach out to the rest of the league. People let me know if that works or doesn't work for you. But, we're going to try to get this thing off without a hitch. So talking about the draft, by no means, I mean, I like to go, you guys know, I like to go all out on draft day. It's Christmas to me. I love seeing you all. We have a very good time. And I love, like, when we can do it, especially outdoors, set the tents up, do this or that. But I know with COVID-19 and everything going on, it's tough because it takes me a little while to plan all that stuff as well. I'm even considering maybe instead just doing it in my living room this year and using my TV as a digital draft board and using something like Clicky Draft. Makes it very simple, very easy. The only thing I will say that if you want a social distance, it's just not going to happen at the draft. So, it is what it is. I mean, if you're concerned about it, by all means, you can draft digitally. That's one of the reasons I'd rather do just for this year. I'm thinking about doing clicky draft with the online drafting because I can send a link to the entire league and you can literally, you'll have the draft board either on your computer or on your phone at home and you'll see everything updated live and you can make your picks live and we'll see those updates as well. So I think it's a good way to kind of meet in the middle. And not to mention, if I do it that way, I'm not spending money on a draft board and other things, and I can put some of that into more of the door prizes that I like to do, like the draft, kind of the draft bingo that we always do when people can win some cool prizes. So that's my thoughts. How do you feel about that on the live draft day?
Yeah. No, this all sounds good. I'm hoping that we'll see most people here, but I completely understand for those that don't want to risk for whatever reason, health reason, family reason. Not here to pass judgment. Just hope that
Speak up a little bit.
Make sure they find a way to to be a part.
Yeah.
You got to do what's best for you and your family. I understand it.
Yeah, and this has been a trying year for everybody, but I'm hoping, because I know for a fact everyone in our league, every manager we have is freaking awesome. I know you guys all love playing fantasy football. I hope you all enjoy the league as much as I do because I love it. And, if football is happening, we're going to try to get this whole thing off without a hitch. But this year may be just a little bit different than other years, but we're still going to try to make it happen as best as we can. That being said, I did make a couple changes to the league. You may have noticed that I actually added an additional IR slot. So we now have 2 IR slots for this year. That will hopefully help mitigate some of the COVID shit. So if your team gets hit and you need to move people into IR and pick other people up, that should help. And funny enough, after adding the second IR slot, I actually had a couple people chime in and say that they like that anyway.
Yeah.
And after doing a bit more research, I find that people like having the additional IR slot. So if people like it this year, I have no problem keeping that as the norm going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So especially for teams early on that get bit by the injury bug, it's tough. Having that second IR slot can help if you take advantage of it. Also, we moved to Fab this year. I talked a little bit about it, free agent acquisition budget. We'll talk about that more as we get closer to the draft day. But if anybody has questions about Fab, feel free to text me, call me. I can explain it more. Hop on Google, research it. It's a far better system than the rolling waivers that we were doing. Trust me, it's going to make everything immensely better. I think you would agree with that.
I would agree with that.
And
it takes away the rolling waiver priority, which is always tough because someone that may not need that running back will just pick the running back and then try to sell it to you for your best player. I know that we've all been through that type of situation that none of us likes because it kind of sucks. Let's just be honest. No one wants to give away their best wide receiver for the free agent running back
or
that team stole, knowing that you need the freaking running back.
Or even better, the other thing it takes out of the equation is every once in a while you'll have people staying up or waking up, setting alarms, waking up 2:30, 3 in the morning, waiting for waivers to clear, and then cherry picking free agents. Fab takes that all out of the equation because you can do $0 bids if you want. You could put 50 $0 bids on all different players in the league. And that way, once they clear, you can get the people that you want. So there's no more incentive to waking up at 3 in the morning and then getting people that have cleared through that. So I think Fab it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot better for the league, and I'm looking forward to it.
Be strategic with your money. I can't give you more warning than that.
Blow all your money week 1.
Do not
just do it.
I'm not saying don't blow all your money, but if you blow all your money, then you're taking the bottom of the barrel week in and week out.
It's true. So last bit of news before things we want to talk about before we get into the mock draft. So what do we do if COVID-19 cuts our season short? So, normally as the commissioner of the league, there's certain decisions that I feel in the best interest of the league I'm just going to make because I think it'll make us that much better. This is one that I more so want to present to the league. I'd like to get everybody's feedback and input. So
I've thought about this. I can't wait to share my opinion on this.
So let's say the season goes off without a hitch and they do get it going, and then all of a sudden by week 5 in the NFL, COVID is running rampant, and they say, you know what, we're shutting the season down. It's done. What do we do? So I'll give you my thought process really quickly. My thing is, I'd prefer just to refund everybody their money at that point. Give it all back. The option B to that would be whatever team is in the lead with the most points would get something or all. I would much rather just refund everybody their money and just say, you know what, we'll get back at it next year. What is your opinion?
My opinion is don't give everybody back their money. My thought is this: if it gets cut short, no matter what week it is, my thought is give everybody half their money back. Then the top 3 point getters will split the other half of that money. You work hard to do your studying. You work hard to do a good draft.
Yeah,
and you're off to a great start. Be rewarded. Why not? Everybody can get half their money back, but yet the guys that were doing really well walk away with something. I think that's fair. It's reasonable. That's my 2 cents. Yeah, top 3 point getters, not records, guys. I don't care. You could be 5-0 with a shitty ass point just because you got some good match. Top 3 point getters will walk away with half the money divided up however we decide that we want.
And these are ideas we can mull this over. Again, if you're watching, get back to me. Let me know what you think if you have an opinion, but we can get something on the books. Again, this is a unique year for fantasy.
Yeah.
This is not normal, but we'll have to figure it out. That being said, that pretty much covers the news, so I'm going to put this down. So we're going to get into a mock draft right now, which I'm looking forward to. So
before we do that, though, I just want to say, Eddie already brought up that we're looking at possibly next Friday or the Friday after for the draft.
The draft order.
I know last year we had a laughable draft lottery because both Eddie and I ended up 1 and 2. I can't beg you enough. 1 GM, 2 GMs, all you freaking GMs, be here, be part of the lottery, so that if Eddie and I go 1 and 2, you'll be the reason why we did it. No, honestly, we'd love to have a few GMs be here to take part of that lottery so that you can see that it's being done right. There's no shenanigans going on. Not that there was any last year. It just was the luck of the draw.
Oh, we got away with it, man. We totally did.
Hey, I was supposed to have the number 1 pick. I had the most balls and the best opportunity for that. So I was robbed. Desmond McCaffrey should have been mine.
That's me this year, man. I got the best odds.
I don't. My odds not so good. Whatever.
So yeah, no. Dennis brings up a good point. So I'm thinking by this weekend we're gonna set the date. We'll figure it out.
Excellent.
And I'd love to get a couple of you guys or Liz over here.
Hour of your time. Not a lot of time.
No, it's gonna be more than an hour, dude. We're going all out.
All right.
All out.
Eddie's wife's cooking. Spaghetti and meatballs, guys.
All right. That being said, I'm gonna minimize this a little bit here. Oh, we're so small now. So small. So hopefully you can still see us. I know you can still hear us. So this mock draft is actually based on this is all of our league's scoring and rules. So 10 teams, full PPR snake draft. We've got the typical lineup: 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 full flex, 6 bench slots, a kicker, and a D. And Dennis and I ended up randomizing where we were going to pick from. We ended up getting the 3rd draft position out of 10. So it's going to be interesting going back and forth. We're going to kind of openly talk about, so we're drafting the same team. Right. So we're going to put our heads together and figure out what we want to do. But again, come draft day, all these ADPs are going to shift. So that's why we want to do this now. We don't mind doing it together and giving our opinions because we know come draft day, this is going to change. That being said, let's kick this off, Dennis.
Get it on.
Let's get it on. Actually, I'm going to start the draft. Get rid of this.
Does anybody want to guess who 1 and 2 is going to be?
I could probably take a guess who 1 and 2 are.
I think we pretty much know who 1 and 2 is going to be.
Hey! So
no
look
way.
at that.
What a surprise.
So right off the bat, you had Christian McCaffrey at number 1, Saquon at number 2. I mean, that's, unless injuries happen, that's going to be consensus. That's
pretty much a guarantee.
Pretty much a guarantee. So we're going to hide the drafted players here. So here's the question a lot of people are asking is, so if you're at the 3 spot and you do get the McCaffrey, Saquon, do you entertain going with someone like Michael Thomas, who in a full PPR, I don't fault you for considering it. He's so steady.
Off the charts last year.
Unbelievable. And, his situation hasn't changed. So if anybody decides to go Michael Thomas here, I would not fault you. I'm going to guess that you agree with me here, Dennis, that running backs are at a premium.
Yes.
And
the top tier running backs are definitely at a
And
premium. I think it drops off pretty quickly.
It does. When you start hitting that tier 3 towards the end, there's a pretty big drop off in my opinion. So I would love to have Ezekiel Elliott here.
Yes.
For multiple reasons. I love the Dallas offense. They picked up CeeDee Lamb, terrific wide receiver. So, I mean, there's between him, Alvin Kamara, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. I mean, I think Zeke's going to have some room to run. And he already had COVID. He's already recovering.
I wanted to say that without having anybody be insulted by it.
No.
That is a true.
That is something we have to consider going into this draft.
Right? As we know right now, you can't catch it a second time.
So
it is come and gone for him.
So I think, in my opinion, are we taking Zeke?
Yeah, we're taking Zeke.
All right, we're taking Zeke. I like it.
Him and his giant head.
So Michael Thomas went right after, no surprise. So we'll take another quick look at the draft board here to see where we're at, and I'm already very happy
that we just landed Chris Godwin in the second round.
Wow, we're going to talk about that. So after Zeke went Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Dalvin Cook, which is a risk because he could hold out this year.
He says he's going to.
Alvin Kamara,
Nightmare.
Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. So look at that at the turn. So a Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders could be interesting. And even this year, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler. So again, being at the 9-10 spot isn't a bad thing.
I mean, look at this year. Look at 7. Alvin Kamara, Kenyon Drake. Do you really hate it? I don't.
No.
I don't hate that at all. And typically someone would tell you that 7 is the worst spot to be in a 10-man league. If I came out Kenyon Drake and Alvin Kamara at 7, I'd be pretty happy with my team out the gate.
So I'm a little bummed out that Aaron Jones went right before our pick. He was my next highest ranked running back. But that being said, I'm still huge on Josh Jacobs. And my opinion, this is where the tier breaks for me. After Jacobs, the rest of these running backs, I think, is a huge step down. But you also have to look at Chris Godwin sitting there. And you always have to keep in mind, Travis Kelce's still sitting there too. But that being said, we're at the 3 spot. So
we're going to get a top guy on the turn, something that you may not get in the 7th or 8th spot. So that, again, just part of your strategy. Knowing that you're picking in 4 more picks. Looking at what's left on the board, you've got some good options.
My pick would be Josh Jacobs. That's my pick right here. He is by far the bell cow running back for the Raiders. The Raiders have an improved offense. He balled out last year in his rookie season. I think he could take another step forward. I think starting the draft with Zeke and Josh Jacobs is awesome. That's a great floor to build off of. I mean, but do we want to rock, paper, scissors? Who gets the pick here?
No. I mean,
talk me into Godwin here.
No, I mean, Godwin's easy to talk you in because, first off, we all know that Tom Brady loves the short game. That's his bread and butter. And Chris Godwin is a slot guy. He's going to be his Julian Edelman. This guy already was a top 5 wide receiver last year. Brady's going to fall in love with this guy. I'm more concerned with how Mike Evans will fit into this offense with Tom Brady at QB than I am with Chris Godwin. But I want to backtrack a little bit here on the running back situation. One of the things that Eddie brought up was how quickly the running back tier drops off. Just look at your overall ratings here, guys. You've got Josh Jacobs sitting there, and then look at the next 15 picks. They're all wide receivers and tight ends. You don't see another running back pop into the next tier until 33.
I think Josh Jacobs is the
So
pick.
we know that we can get a top running back and still come back for a Juju, for a Kenny Golladay, for a George Kittle. Like, we're going to still get a tremendous wide receiving type player.
Yeah, so why?
And solidify our number 2 running back. I think I love Godwin, but I think that Josh Jacobs is the right choice here in this position.
Yeah, I really do.
Yes.
We okay with Jacobs?
I'm okay with Jacobs because I'm still getting a stud.
All right. We'll take Josh Jacobs, and I'm curious to see what happens here now.
So hope he doesn't get into Vegas trouble.
So here's what I almost didn't want to happen, but it did.
What, Kittle falling to you?
So we're now sitting. So we drafted Josh Jacobs. After went Kelsey, Chris Godwin, Juju, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is, to me, that is insane. I think he's being drafted way too early. Damian Williams is still a factor on that team. So, I mean, if you're buying into the hype, that's one thing. I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's crazy. I think he's going way too early.
I just think Team 2 likes Kansas City, man. He went back-to-back KC plays. What's that guy doing?
So we're sitting at the 303, and I'm never one to draft a quarterback early. So I prefer getting value at quarterback late in the draft all the time. Done it multiple times. That being said, I don't care that they have Patrick Mahomes rated above Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in fantasy breaks the game. He is a running back and a quarterback in one, and I still think that offense is going to be humming this year. So you could take Lamar Jackson here, and I wouldn't hate it. That being said, I'm much more of the opinion to draft a quarterback late because we still have, looking at the board right now, so we have George Kittle, which after him, it is a tier break. So let's scroll down to tight end real quick.
Let's just be honest here, guys, while he's scrolling down. If you're one of those guys that wants to go quarterback early and wants to get one of those top guys, this is where you have to do it. You do not have a choice. These guys, I promise you, those 2 guys are not making it back in round 4. They will be off the board before we even hit the turn, never mind getting to round 4. They're gone. So you have to make the decision. If you want one of those guys, you're going early on them because you're not getting them any other way.
It's just so tough, though, because then you can, if we wanted to right now, we could get someone like, personally, out of this tier of wide receivers, I think Kenny G, I feel the best about him out of all of these right here. So if we could go Kenny G right now with our stud running backs, get another awesome either wide receiver running back on the way back. I mean, I'm fine punting tight end and quarterback, waiting till the end.
You don't have to.
But
I am never a quarterback chaser, guys. I won the league with Jameis Winston as my quarterback. I think that says it all, doesn't it? That guy threw 50 touchdowns and 50 interceptions. I mean, obviously not that many, but he's an interception machine. You don't need to.
And if you look at quarterback, I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
still pretty deep.
I'd be fine with Matt Stafford. I would be fine.
Well, they got Aaron Rodgers ranked number 12.
Yeah.
Are you really that upset if Aaron Rodgers is your QB?
Dude, I would take Jared Goff.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I would take – you can stream the position. So I'm with you. Like, I'd love to have a Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes. I'm fine waiting.
He's going to have big, huge weeks, and it's going to help you.
That being said,
that's going to be wonderful.
That being said, so, I like these wide receivers, but I like a lot of wide receivers even later. George Kittle is a talent. So this to me is the big tier break. So you've got Kelsey and you've got Kittle, and then it just drops. And then you're kind of taking your shots on tight end, hoping that somebody. We know what Kelsey and Kittle are. Do we take Kittle here?
So I'm glad you brought that up. So this is me giving too much information, but I'll share with you. I'm a big fan of George Kittle this year, and I'm going to give you my real reason why I feel so strongly about him. There's a certain wide receiver that left San Francisco this year, which I think means more targets for Mr. Kittle. So I am all in on George Kittle. Personally, he's my number one tight end on the board over Travis Kelce, and I absolutely would draft him here in this position. I feel the wide receiver position is deep. I am still getting a stud. You're not getting a stud tight end like George Kittle. There's no one that's going to even come close to what he's going to give you this year.
I agree.
So I would go George Kittle in this draft spot.
I agree. Debo's hurt too, right?
But I don't know that he's going to miss any time.
Oh, I still think it's a good call. We're going Kittle.
I love Kittle. Kittle in bits, please.
Yeah, so right after us,
all those guys would.
Lamar, Patrick.
And you knew they would.
But, all right, so now we're back looking at the draft board.
God, I'm excited about a guy I just saw.
Yeah, I am too. So we've got a quick turnaround off our picks. So I'm loving the beginning of our team here.
Oh, what did I tell you? They wouldn't make the turn. They went the next two back-to-back picks.
Back-to-back.
Both those QBs.
So right off the bat, and this is a funny argument that we keep coming into with the Los Angeles Rams wide receivers. You've got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods back to back, and it's so funny. You've got people in the Cooper Kupp camp, and you've got people in the Robert Woods camp. What camp are you in?
Both. You want a big boom guy? Cooper Kupp. You want a consistent guy who's going to give you great points week in and week out? Robert Woods.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
They're both going to be good for you. I don't care which one you take. You get to choose your poison.
So Brandon Cooks is gone. Brandon Cooks is gone from this offense. So my 2 cents is.
I remember what Robert Woods did 2 years ago with no Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
Please look up 2018 Robert Woods.
I'm leaning Robert Woods personally because the LA Rams, they changed their offense a little bit towards the end of the year. They went much more tight end heavy, and when that happened, Cooper Kupp was, I don't want to say he disappeared, he fell off the map a bit, and that's when Robert Woods actually came on.
Well, Kupp is an injury-prone guy too, guys. Understand that you're not probably getting 16 weeks out of Cooper Kupp. I'm not saying he didn't. I know it's only like his third or fourth year, but I can't recall a year that he made a season. So
we going Robert Woods?
Yeah, I'm fine with Robert Woods.
Yeah, I like it. And then look who's sitting there.
Oh yeah, I love him, but I can't lie about the guy that's sitting underneath him.
Keenan Allen
on the overall.
So
I can't lie. That team likes to run. They like to run.
Oh, wait. So you're talking running back?
I'm talking overall underneath Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Melvin?
I am a big fan. I believe that this year he'll have a full training camp this year. He's playing for a team that they are a run-first team. That's who they are. That's what Denver's always been, even in Peyton Manning's years.
So
they're a run-first team.
I am 100% fine taking more so a shot at a running back here, only because, again, look at the wide receivers.
It's so deep, man.
When it dips down,
so deep.
If you're telling me that like T.Y. Hilton, DK Metcalf, Jarvis Landry is our running back two, I'm sorry, wide receiver two.
Hey, Stephon Diggs in Buffalo is extremely interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's low passing volume there, so I'm not crazy about him, but the problem to me with Le'Veon Bell, he's just so capped in that Jets offense.
The team around him is not very good. It's not his talent.
But Melvin Gordon could walk into a bunch of that's what Melvin Gordon does. He just walks into touchdowns. So, I mean,
I love him. I think Melvin
you want to go Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, I love him. I think Melvin Gordon big year this year.
All right, we'll give it to you.
That team likes to run.
That's your guy. Let's take him.
Oh man, look at our running backs. And let's be honest, what is the easiest position to trade in fantasy football? I'll tell you what that is. It's really easy. A starting running back.
Yep.
Easiest player to trade. You get hurt in another position and you're holding the three running backs that we're holding, we can trade into a better wide receiver if we need to.
So right after that, so we have Cooper Kupp, David Johnson. Now what do we want to do?
Oh, there's an unknown guy that's just fallen off the draft boards due to an injury last year and a change at QB. Very interesting wide receiver in AJ Green sitting on the board, who would be a top 10 wide receiver typically.
It's true.
Just sitting there. Ty sitting there. That would be interesting, right? What did T.Y. Hilton do this year with Phillip Rivers?
So I definitely think we want to go wide receiver here because we
need to.
Yeah, we've got Zeke, Jacobs, and Gordon at running back, Kittle at tight end, Robert Woods is our wide receiver 1, which I love. So wide receiver 2, I mean,
look at Devontae Parker sitting there. He had a huge second half of the year.
He did, and I mean, Fitzpatrick is still going to at least get the start.
He's going to be the guy.
But I mean, if they lose a lot of games, they're going to bring Tua in.
I still trust that Tua is going to be a Devontae Parker fan himself.
So to me, the picks right here, in my opinion, it's Devontae Parker or T.Y. Hilton. I'm sorry. Which way are we coming on this draft board right now? Are we coming back? We're going to be the long pick after this.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, if it's me, I'm going T.Y. Hilton. Reason being, Phillip Rivers is their new quarterback. Rivers was 3rd overall last year in the deep ball. T.Y. Hilton thrives on the deep ball. So I think it's a good choice. I think Devontae Parker, he was first-round draft pick capital, but it was just years of mediocrity. He broke out last year, but was it an enigma? We don't know. We know what T.Y. Hilton is. T.Y. Hilton is consistently a top 20 wide receiver. So, and he's always got the potential to be a top 10. So I would take a shot on him more so as our wide receiver 2. I think the consistency is a bit more, I think it's safer, in my opinion.
All right.
Did I talk you into it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Let's go T.Y. Oh, man. A.J. Green's still sitting there. A.J. Green is still sitting there.
He's a potential top 10 wide receiver. He always is.
And he's got Burrows throwing the football now.
I don't know how hurt he was last year. I think he truly just gave up on the team and didn't want to take part in it.
It's so funny, like back to back, too. You've got A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd.
I know.
It's like, who is the...
A.J. Green's the coin flip on how healthy is he, and Tyler Boyd's the sure thing of if A.J. Green doesn't play, Tyler Boyd did just fine as the number 1 wide receiver for Cincinnati.
So I'm fine. In my opinion, you can never have too many running backs in fantasy. And I think...
Mark Ingram?
So this to me is where the tear break... We hit another tear break, in my opinion. So we've got Mark Ingram, who I think has at least another year as the starter. I know Baltimore put high draft capital in a running back, but I think Ingram still has a starting job. David Montgomery, we know what he is. He still is the starter. Didn't have a super great year last year, but he did get some volume.
Give him the damn ball.
I agree.
Didn't give him the ball enough.
And then Singletary, which, it is what it is.
There are still guys sitting.
Kareem Hunt's the other one that intrigues me. If Nick Chubb ever went down, Kareem Hunt is a league winner.
As long as he doesn't beat his kid. Come on.
But
be a better man.
I mean, after these backs are gone, these are all crapshoots.
There's one I love. Still love him. Big. Can't wait to see what Cam Akers does over for the Los Angeles Rams.
Cam Akers is one of my dart throws. So he would be someone I would definitely take in a little bit, but I don't think we need to take him now. I'm leaning Mark Ingram here, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, running back is the most difficult position to draft and keep. That is a starting.
To me, it's back. Ingram or Montgomery. Which one are you leaning? I would go with the back and the better offense.
Yeah, always.
Let's take Ingram. Yeah, I'm right there. Bunch of backs went. Shit. So I was hoping Marquise Hollywood Brown would make it back to us, but he was drafted. But we got Mark Ingram, so we don't want to go too heavy in Baltimore. So So. What's our bench look like? We got Ingram on the bench. So running back,
Stacked.
we're stacked, which that's what you want to be. So now let's take a look here. All right, so we are in round 8. We're gonna get a quick turnaround.
All those wide receivers taken by that team.
Marvin Jones just went off the board too, which I'm pretty high on this year. So
yeah, I don't agree with. Just so you know, I don't agree with that draft strategy. I think 6 wide receivers is a waste of a draft.
Yeah, you can always find wide receivers.
Especially in a league where we're starting 2. You both in flex, but we're starting 2. Why are you going to bench 3 or 4 wide receivers every single week? It's a bad draft strategy. I just can't agree with it.
I concur. So some of these wide receivers here, I mean, we've got some decent ones, but I actually prefer the next tier.
Great, I do too. There's 2 guys I like particularly on that tier 6.
So I'm fine punting this tier, waiting a little bit. To me, I know we've already gone running back heavy. To me, the pick right here, it's either Kareem Hunt or Cam Akers. I say we take another shot, and we can get some quality wide receivers late.
Yeah, and for me, it's going to be Cam Akers because he's a starter and Kareem Hunt's the backup.
We think Cam Akers is a starter.
He's going to be the starter.
You know, they still have Cam Akers
is the starter. He's going to take that job. They drafted him with their first pick for a reason. It's not to play backup.
You're thinking Cam Akers?
Yeah. If I'm given the choice of the
well,
two,
I
think Kareem Hunt's a ton of talent, but let's just be honest, he's going to split carries. I don't expect Cam Akers might split some carries early on. He's going to win that job outright. Kareem Hunt's never going to win that job. He's going to have to wait for
I'm still fine waiting on quarterback. There's a ton of great choices still.
Can you believe though? Here we are, round 8, Tom Brady and Drew Brees sitting there. Wow.
Let's grab Cam Akers.
Love him. We got a lot of damn good running backs.
Yep. So, don't mind me, just looking over. There he is right there. Darrell Henderson. That's the name I couldn't think of. So he was the one that was touted to be taking over Gurley's role last year, but
just couldn't get it done last year.
He couldn't get it done, but their O-line kind of sucked.
My guess is, my thought is this on Darrell Henderson. I think I drafted Darrell Henderson in a few leagues last year, hoping that he would break out with the knees of Todd Gurley. He had all of last year to take that job. Todd Gurley didn't light up, do anything fantastic last year, and he could never take that job away. And then they just wasted their number 1 draft pick on this Cam Akers. That tells me that they don't believe in Darrell Henderson at all.
All right,
they don't.
So we're in the 9th round. So here is the point where I'd start considering drafting the quarterback. We've got Matt Ryan sitting there. Obviously, we feel great about Julio. We feel great about Calvin Ridley. We know he's got the weapons.
Well, Matt Ryan's the best quarterback in the AFC South anyway. Just ask him. He said that himself. Who's the best quarterback in the AFC?
To me,
South?
If you're talking, again, another tier break, I think Matt Ryan is head and shoulders above boom, 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 boom. I mean, Breeze I would still consider, but
I'm still considering Tom Brady. With all the weapons he has, how could he fail?
So the only reason
with all the weapons he has.
I know what you're saying, but it's a limited year, like there's no preseason, no this or that. If it was a regular year, I'd be a bit more on board, but Matt Ryan, it's consistent. We know the offense, but I'm still fine. Like if you want to pivot,
I don't even want to go quarterback.
That's fine.
I'm looking guys in tier 3 right now that I'm fine with to run my team with. Several of them actually.
Dude, there are guys in tier 4.
Rodgers, Stafford, Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, Jared Goff. I'll start all 5 of those on my fantasy team and not be mad about it.
Yep. All right, so what are we going here? We're pretty stacked at running back.
I'd love to go wide receiver here right now. The question is, what wide receiver? I like CeeDee Lamb, and I like Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, so
Emmanuel Sanders is jumping into that. Why am I forgetting his name?
Ted Ginn.
Yeah, that Ted Ginn role. And I think Emmanuel Sanders still has a lot to get. I guess the thing that I like most about Emmanuel Sanders over at Ted Ginn is Ted Ginn was just kind of a stress the field kind of guy, Emmanuel Sanders is a great route runner, and Drew Brees could fall in love with him, especially if their tight end, Cook, does not do his job. It could be Michael Thomas in a big year for Emmanuel Sanders. Given the choice, I'm going Emmanuel Sanders or CD Lamb. Excuse me.
So
interesting rookie of there in Dallas.
And this is a good point in the draft too to mention that, when you get to rounds 9, 10, 11, you can throw ADP out the window a little bit. If you feel strongly about somebody, it's fine reaching for them. So if you think CeeDee Lamb, or there's a chance, CeeDee Lamb, again, being a rookie, but he was ranked as arguably the number one wide receiver in this year's draft.
Right.
Amari Cooper, we know he's been injury prone, and
he has games where he doesn't show up.
Michael Gallup, yeah, he had a good year. There's a real possibility CeeDee Lamb could be the guy.
Another thing I like to look at, guys, me personally, is as much as we're throwing ADP out the window, when we are getting this into the draft, I like to look at the offense as a whole. We know New Orleans is a good offense. We know that Dak Prescott and that Dallas Cowboys offense is a good offense. Looking at the guys, the New York Jets aren't a great offense. Buffalo's not a great offense. The New York Giants are not a great offense. It's surprising to me that these guys are ranked above some of these other guys.
All right, so if you're playing the ADP game then a little bit, it would make more sense for us to take Emmanuel Sanders, float back, take CeeDee Lamb, and then see where we're at.
No, I like Emmanuel Sanders here for a couple of reasons, Eddie, because just looking at the pecking order on each team, Emmanuel Sanders is going to sit at number 2. CeeDee Lamb, at least out the gate, he's not going to be the number 2 option for the Dallas.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb got taken.
Well, as I would expect that he would. Some of these wide receivers didn't deserve to be.
Yeah, wide receiver just got decimated. But that being said, a lot of these guys bought into that tier, and I did not like that tier at all.
Pass. Well, I mean, what does Christian Kirk do this year? Now we have Tyler Murray stepping up in his second year.
Yeah, and you also have DeAndre Hopkins there eating targets. So, I mean, it's... Well, I know who I want to pick right now, and I think it's a smash pick.
Who's this?
Jordan Howard.
You want to go another RB, huh?
You can never have too many running backs, man. You really can't.
There's still so many good plays on the books. I mean, on the overall availability.
I'm never concerned with. You can find wide receivers so freaking easily. They emerge throughout the year, but so to me, Jordan Howard, he's going to be the lead back in Miami, which they have improved. There's no question they've improved, and he's a good running back. Not great, but he's a good running back. The other couple to consider would be Ronald Jones. He technically still should be the lead running back in a much improved Tampa Bay.
So there's a good point. Let's talk about more of where my mind is when it comes to looking at some of these running backs. I do think that Jordan Howard's a decent running back, but here's my problem that I have with Jordan Howard. I don't believe in the Miami offense. I don't think it's a great offense. I think it's a team in a lot of situations that will be trailing in games. And when you got a team that trails in games, you don't run the freaking ball. And that's my fear. How many games this year is Miami going to be playing from behind? Because that's going to take the effectiveness of what Jordan Howard can be to an offense. So I always prefer to look at that when making a decision, Do I believe they're chasing points or they're playing ahead? If they're playing ahead, Jordan Howard's a great choice because they're going to give him the raw. We know he's a north-south type runner. He's not going east or west. He's not going to be the big play, juke this guy, juke that guy. He's going to run through you, and he's going to get what he gets. And that's what you're going to get with Jordan Howard. Powerful runner, but if that team's playing from behind a lot, I don't love him at all.
I'm just not crazy about any of these wide receivers. There's actually wide receivers later that I like even more.
Well, what else do we have here? We don't have a tight end.
Yeah, we do. Kittle.
Oh, we got George. Man, I still love some of the tight ends that are on that board, man.
I do too.
I cannot believe some of the
I was actually just keeping an eye on Hayden Hurst is someone I'm huge on right now.
Jared Cook's out there. Austin Hooper's out there. You're already having Njoku saying, get rid of me. So Austin Hooper becomes a real prime target in Cleveland. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, for the first time in a long time, we can say that I believe the tight end position in fantasy football of 2020 is a deep position.
Yeah,
It
I think
truly
it is. I think it is pretty
It's
deep
some
this
pretty
year.
good plays that you can get. Here we are, like round 9 or 10, and he's still got guys like that.
But even saying that, Kittle's
Well,
he's
he's
a
in a
step
world of his
above.
own. I mean,
He's a step
I
above.
consider Kittle, and the same thing as Travis Kelce, to be like a true wide receiver one. You can't say that about tight ends usually. Those guys are competing against wide receiver ones.
All right, well, we're getting to a tier break at quarterback too. Do we pull the trigger on a quarterback here, since we're not crazy about anybody in this tier?
I'm going to take a closer look at this running back tier. I mean, there's still some guys there that are, I still think we can get a little bit late.
Talked about him before. Latavius Murray, somebody you could take a shot on.
I'm going to say it now.
Dude, Alexander Madison.
I was going to say it now. If you are a Dalvin Cook owner, if you are a Alvin Kamara owner, you need to be looking at those guys right here, right now. We know it. We've seen it. Those guys will step in and be true number one running backs for your guy on your bench.
Dalvin Cook's planning on holding out. So.
I absolutely would be looking at these guys. I think it's a tough position to grab these guys. I mean, you can snag these guys and hope to screw somebody. I just think it's a tough position, especially when we have 5 running backs. Do we really want to take a guy and hope that we can screw somebody? I don't know. But I know that if I'm the GM holding one of those 2 starters on my team, and those 2 guys are sitting on the board this late, I may be grabbing the handcuff right here. Maybe quarterback, man.
Let's take Drew Brees.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I like it. That gives us a little sneaky combo.
Yeah. So short term.
And look at you, Jordan Howard is still sitting
Jordan
there.
Howard's still sitting there.
Latavius and Madison are still sitting there. I mean, it's still.
I'm fine going running back heavy. There's some wide receivers down the line. Honestly, Hunter Renfrow is somebody I'm targeting in a lot of drafts as well.
Maybe we should look at a kicker already.
Let's grab a D.
Don't draft a kicker.
Let's grab a defense. No, we're going to take Jordan Howard here. Carry on Johnson. Carry on my Wilson. All right, so
Finally he went. I was wondering when.
That was the right time to take Drew Brees.
Yep.
Because we just had a big quarterback run happen. So, and I still, honestly, I would have been fine with Big Ben. Would have been fine with Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff, even Kirk Cousins. You know, we could live with that.
What about Minshew Mania?
Dude, Gardner, Secret Garden. Count me in. So, to me, if this was and again, this is all based on, people drafting in real life. We actually had our first defense go right here. Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow, Rob Gronkowski. So Gronk went right around.
We took Jordan Howard?
Damn, so what's up?
We took Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I took him. So
the Gronk.
Wow, so Gronk went before Austin Hooper, Hunter Henry, and Hayden Hurst, which is insane to me. But especially in New England, he's gonna go early. Somebody's gonna pull the trigger on him. But to me, we can start taking our shots here. To me, Alexander Madison is the smash pick here. If Dalvin Cook holds out, we saw what Madison did last year when he was hurt. He was incredible. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I don't want to do it again, but I'm ready.
So now we have to decide. Hunter Renfrow is one of my dart throws, but I think we can wait another round to get him. We need to go wide receiver here. Do we take a chance on N'Keal Harry and Cam Newton having a connection?
No. I think that N'Keal Harry will be a great red zone target for Cam. I don't know how much production he'll have between the hashes.
I'm thinking Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
honestly.
So I was looking at a Carolina wide receiver, just not him.
You're thinking Robbie?
Oh yeah, I know a good gust of wind will blow that poor guy away, but yeah, absolutely.
See, to me,
I
you've
also
already got
like,
DJ Moore. DJ Moore should be the de facto number one there.
and I also like Deshaun back in Philadelphia.
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
I would have
I
until
like him.
he made
I
those
know.
until he made
I
those comments,
know.
and they're saying that he's going to get booted now.
I
So
heard they're trying to find a way to drop him,
I ain't touching Deshaun Jackson.
which is sad. Please don't. Let's not take Sammy Watkins. I'm begging you not to.
Slamming Sammy. No, we're not touching Sammy Watkins. All right, so you want Robbie?
What do we have for wide receivers? Can we look at that for a second?
No, we can't. Of course we
Thanks.
can't.
Let's look at that for a second.
All right, so we've got Robert Woods, T.Y. Hilton,
We need a wide receiver. Oh no.
and
Okay,
we've got Emmanuel
Emmanuel.
Sanders.
But we do need another wide receiver.
Yeah, we do. We do. I'm fine. We can take a couple dart throws here. I'm good.
If we're going to take a couple of dart throws, then I want to reach now because I don't know that he'll be there.
What do you want?
Hunter Renfro.
Okay. To me, that's the pick, man. I love him.
He's the 2020, I'm about to say Wes Welker, but Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, that type of guy.
Well, look at that.
Knows.
Robbie and Curtis are still there.
All right.
See, now you have these other teams that went wide receiver heavy. Now they're all panicking and picking up running backs. We already did that, so we don't have to worry about that. So
let's get you Curtis Samuel. You liked him.
I like him.
He's there. Let's take him.
I really do. I think this
That'll
late in
give us
the
our
draft,
fifth wide receiver.
I think it's good value, and I think he could be the 1B to DJ Moore. Boy. All right, so let's take a look at our draft board. All right, so last round.
Friggin' oh wow, this is where we are already. All right,
And
man, this flew.
as I always say in my league, you don't have to draft a kicker or a D if you don't want to.
Just please make sure in any league that you're doing outside of this league that you know that rule. There are plenty of leagues that require that you draft a full roster, that you need to draft a kicker,
which is
that
stupid.
You need to drive a defense. But just be sure of that before you go this strategy at all.
So we're not going to grab a kicker or a D because, honestly, you can just drop players and you can pick them up before it starts.
Unless you see something that blows your mind that you think should not be there. At this point, I don't know that exists on for either kicker. You can see what's available. I'm comfortable with Jake Elliott. He's one of 6 kickers on the board. I'm okay with Denver Broncos and Minnesota's defense. They're one of top 5 defenses still remaining as well. So you need to panic for it. I don't know.
I'm
Is
fine.
there anybody that's still out there for depth? So let's go take a look back at our overall and see what they might be suggesting. Now, I know
he's still sitting there.
I know that we took Drew Brees. He's an older quarterback. Do you take your last pick and protect your quarterback with a young quarterback? We saw the emergence of how great the number 1 drafted quarterback came out last year. Joe Burrow is sitting there. Do you stash him to see what he does in Cincinnati?
No. I mean, traditionally, it's a huge rarity if a rookie quarterback comes out and is good for fantasy. It just doesn't happen, especially with the question mark that is AJ Green. I wouldn't do it and the only reason being, no one's going to draft him. If you feel strongly about it, if he has a good week 1 and you want to go get him,
you're going to have to overpay for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather take a shot. I'd much rather take a shot on a Ben Roethlisberger as my backup, only because we know the weapons. We've seen Ben succeed. Ben
lacks weapons. That's why he's still on the board.
Oh man, he's got good weapons.
He tried to make Juju the guy, and Juju's not the guy.
Well, Juju was the guy until Ben went down and had no quarterbacks throwing him the ball. But I'm fine with that. If you want to take a backup quarterback here,
I think with a 40-year-old quarterback, you should consider it. If you're taking a guy do we all remember what 2017 to 2018 looked like for Peyton Manning? He was a flopping noodle, one of the worst. Now, I know he won a Super Bowl, but if you look it up, it was the worst season performance by a quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl in NFL history. And that was just a matter of a really good year previous year to the following season. So if you want to go Tom Brady, if you want to go Drew Brees, I think you better protect yourself. You better.
My personal opinion, I'd go Jared Goff.
And me personally, I'm a homer, and what the hell not? I'd go Cam Newton.
All right, we'll take Cam Newton.
I think the New England has good offense, and why not?
Look at that.
If you get Superman, and this is a former number NFL, I love it. We went Superman. A-. All right.
All right, so our team again, we've got Zeke, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, Robert Woods, Melvin Gordon, T.Y. Hilton, Mark Ingram, Cam Akers, Emmanuel Sanders, Drew Brees, Jordan Howard, Alexander Madison, Hunter Renfrow, which I love that pick, Curtis Samuel, and Cam Newton. I feel good about it. I mean, any draft you can walk out of and you're very happy with the running backs, you did well. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, you can find all that shit on waivers. But I'm very happy with our running back core.
There's always going to be 3 or 4 wide receivers on the free agency market that'll break out that you can pick up. Always. Every single year.
That being said,
not always that easy with a running back.
The draft is complete.
We did it.
So, thank you for watching all. We're going to sign off, but you'll be seeing a group text from me, shortly. By the time you see this, you'll already have it. So, thanks for watching. We'll be in touch and looking forward to the season. Hopefully it happens.
Take care.
Later.